let's move on to the royal family.
Yeah, let's. I've just been looking at a few stories surrounding the king. So I noticed this one in the Metro from a couple of days ago that says there's been a cyber attack on hospital used by the royals. Now, this is the Edward VII Hospital, and apparently hackers are demanding £300,000 by tomorrow. This was a couple of days ago, or else the royal family's medical records will be shared. Now, I checked this morning and I haven't seen an update on this story, but I believe it's being covered by quite a few mainstream media, so keep an eye out. And also, the king has renamed the Prince's Trust. So the Prince's Trust is now called the King's Trust. The Prince of Wales Charitable Fund becomes the King Charles III Charitable Fund, and the Prince's Foundation will now be known as the King's Foundation. And let's not forget Terracotta, which of course he's in partnership with AstraZeneca, and Astracarta, where the royal crown seems to be professing that he has maybe declared himself king of the universe. But I noticed this story in Paranormality magazine, which is referring to a new film, a new documentary, which was released actually on December the 1st, which was looking at the royal family's fascination with UFOs and crop circles. And according to this, apparently Charles piloted an experimental UFO in Canada in 1975. So if we go to, I've just done a little screenshot where you can go and look for the trailer or the film of this, and it's IMDb, The King of UFOs, director Mark Christopher Lee, stars Dan Costello, Mark Christopher Lee, and Nick Pope. But let's have a look at the trailer of King of UFOs.
What I noticed was that this thing could cantilever at 25-degree angle. And this is when I was seeing this ionic blue flame coming from the nether region of the craft.
Yeah, and then Prince Philip, I did send books to Prince Philip, and he thanked me for them.
So here is somebody who could lift up the phone and say, look here, what's going on? I want a full classified briefing, and I'm sure he would get one.
And I think Charles saved all of our lives that night.
Had a huge library of books and magazines, and actually one time it was revealed that the Queen and Prince Philip took a crop circle book. I think it was one of Colin Andrews' books on as for their summer holidays.
We were talking about it, and he said, "John, are you religious?" I said, "Well, I'm a Christian." He said, No, that's not what I meant. He said, do you take, are you Catholic, or do you go to church, and etc. I said, well, not really. And so he said, well, I admire you for what you're doing. He said, but don't bother. He said, because this is demonic. This is what this is all about, demonic. UFOs are demonic.
So lots of questions to be asked there. And his book, Harmony, and I actually bought a copy of the book, Harmony, which was written in 2010 by the then Prince of Wales, looking at a new way of looking at our worlds, and saying basically that we're at a historic moment. I took a screenshot of the chapter titles within the book because I think they're quite interesting in themselves. The Golden Thread, Nature. There's lots of really lovely colour pictures as well. And I just took a screenshot too of page 11. Now, I don't know, gentlemen, whether you might want to read it out because my voice is a little bit croaky.
Well, we're not going to read it all. I mean, was there a section that...
Yeah,
yes, well, let me read out a little tiny bit of it, because I'd like to ask our audiences really their perception of this. There is no empirical evidence for the existence of God, so therefore God does not exist. That seems a reasonable, rational argument, so long as you go along with the empirical definition of God as a thing. I presume the same argument can be applied to the existence of thought. After all, no brain scanner has ever managed to photograph a thought, nor a piece of love for that matter, and it never will. So by the same terms, thought and love do not exist either. So it's interesting to see the perception there, but the book is absolutely littered with symbology, sacred geometry, pyramids, but it also highlighted this symbol, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Ouroboros, Ouroboros, which are originally made up of 2 interlocking serpents, each one consuming its own tail, and symbolizing the renewal that creates the unity of creation. This is used as our modern symbol for the endless loop of infinity. So a very interesting book, pretty much I would say the blueprint for the sustainable goals that we're seeing today. But it's not all rosy in the royal garden, because as Charles flew back for COP, he flew back to have critical talks with the Princess of Wales and the Prince of Wales over remarks in a book that had named him and the Princess of Wales as questioning the colour of Prince Harry's first son, Archie. And so, as I say, not everything in the garden is rosy. And we've also got an MP, Bob Seeley, who seems intent, or doesn't seem to have got anything better to do than wanting to change the law to strip the Sussexes of the titles using the My Titles Deprivation Act. So not everything in the garden is rosy for the king.
Oh, indeed. Okay, let's